High Chancellor Vreel tapped his slender blue fingers against the polished obsidian table. The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as 12 representatives from the most powerful species in the known universe turned their attention to him. The exploration vessel has returned from the outer rim with interesting findings, Vreel announced. They've discovered a planet called Earth with a species showing early signs of interstellar capability. Ambassador Zixtar of the Valorian Empire rose from his seat, his scaled skin shimmering under the artificial light. Chancellor, my intelligence operatives have analyzed the data. These humans possess abundant resources on their world, but remain primitive in comparison to our civilizations. Holographic images appeared above the table: cities, oceans, forests, and humans going about their daily lives. The council members observed with varying expressions of interest, dismissal, and calculation. General Mortux, a hulking figure with crimson armor plates covering his exoskeleton, growled. They appear physically weak, but have shown concerning military advancement. My recommendation is immediate intervention before they develop further. Science Director Elora, her translucent skin revealing the complex neural network beneath, shook her head. I disagree. These humans demonstrate remarkable adaptability and problem-solving abilities. They advance from primitive flight to rudimentary space exploration in less than a century. They deserve study, not conquest. Study takes time, countered Ambassador Zixtar. Their planet contains rare minerals essential for our expansion. Why wait when we can simply take what we need? The debate continued for hours. Some council members argued for peaceful contact, others for observation from a distance, but the majority seemed to favor exploitation. Vreel listened carefully to each perspective, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence as he processed the arguments. We shall vote, Vreel finally declared. The options are peaceful contact, continued observation, or controlled domination. The votes came in one by one. When finished, Vreel announced the results: 8 votes for controlled domination, 3 for continued observation, 1 for peaceful contact. The Council has decided. We will proceed with preparations to bring humanity under our authority. General Mortux smiled, revealing rows of sharp teeth. Excellent. My forces stand ready. Not so fast, General, Vreel cautioned. We must be strategic. Ambassador Zixtar will lead a diplomatic mission to present humans with terms that appear beneficial while securing our authority. Your forces will remain concealed unless needed. Meanwhile on Earth, Dr. Alan Curtis stared at his computer screen in NASA's Deep Space Communications Center. The strange signal patterns had appeared again, and this time he was certain they weren't natural phenomena. Director Rivera, he called out, you need to see this. His supervisor approached, coffee in hand. What am I looking at, Alan? Communication signals, not from Earth. I've ruled out all known satellites and space debris. Someone out there is talking, and they're discussing us. Within 24 hours, Dr. Curtis found himself in a secure underground facility briefing military officials. Captain Lisa Winters, a decorated Navy officer with experience in classified operations, listened intently. How certain are you about this translation algorithm? She asked. 80% confident, Dr. Curtis replied. Enough to know these beings are planning something involving Earth, and it's not friendly. Captain Winters received her orders directly from the President the next day. She would lead a hastily assembled team of scientists, diplomats, and military personnel on humanity's first interstellar mission aboard the experimental spacecraft USV Horizon. Our mission is clear, she told her crew during their final briefing. We've reverse-engineered enough from their communications to locate their meeting place and develop limited faster-than-light capability. We'll arrive unannounced at their council station. The element of surprise may be our only advantage. 3 weeks later, High Chancellor Vreel was discussing the final details of the Earth domination plan when the council chamber doors slid open unexpectedly. Every alien representative turned in shock as a group of unfamiliar beings walked confidently into the room. Captain Winters stepped forward. Greetings from Earth. We thought it was time we joined the conversation about our future. The council chamber erupted into chaos. Security guards with plasma weapons surrounded the human delegation. Captain Winters stood tall, showing no fear despite the weapons pointed at her team. "Impossible," shouted General Mortux, his armored fists slamming against the table. "How did these primitives find us? How did they get here?" Dr. Alan Curtis stepped forward, holding up a small device. "We intercepted your transmissions. The neutral space station hung in the void between star systems, its curved metallic structure gleaming under distant starlight. Inside the main conference chamber, representatives from Earth faced the Galactic Council across a long table made of synthetic crystal. Ambassador Kevin Wright maintained a neutral expression despite the Council's obvious attempts at intimidation. The room itself was designed to make visitors uncomfortable. The temperature too cold for humans, the gravity slightly stronger than Earth normal, and the chairs sized for beings larger than humans. "We have analyzed your proposal," High Chancellor Vreel stated. "The Council finds your demands for equal standing premature." Ambassador Zixtar activated a holographic display showing Earth from orbit. "Your civilization has barely left its cradle. The Council has guided the development of hundreds of species over millions of years. Yet you voted to dominate us without even saying hello," Captain Winters remarked. "Not exactly the mentoring approach." Dr. Martinez slid a data crystal across the table. "Perhaps this will help you reconsider our position." When Science Director Elora activated the crystal, the holographic display changed to show multiple images of human technological advancement: quantum computers, fusion reactors, advanced robotics, and prototype defense systems. "These developments," Dr. Curtis explained, "have occurred within the last 6 months since we detected your presence." The council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. General Mortux leaned forward, his eyes narrowed. "You expect us to believe your species advanced this quickly?" he growled. Major Johnson smiled slightly. "Humans thrive under pressure, General. When we realized we weren't alone, and potentially threatened, every nation pooled resources. Scientists shared discoveries previously kept secret. Military technologies were repurposed for space defense. The fear you intended to create," Captain Winters added, "instead united us." High Chancellor Vreel studied the humans carefully. "These developments are concerning but do not change the fundamental power imbalance between us." Ambassador Wright nodded respectfully. "Which is why we propose a conditional peace treaty. Earth maintains its independence while gradually integrating into galactic society under mutually beneficial terms." As the diplomatic discussion continued, General Mortux discreetly left the chamber. In a secure communications room, he contacted his flagship. "Launch the reconnaissance mission immediately," he ordered. "I want detailed scans of Earth's defenses. This show of technological advancement is likely a bluff." Back on Earth, Admiral William Foster sat in the underground command center beneath the Rocky Mountains. The global defense network, hastily assembled from components contributed by every major nation, hummed with activity around him. "Sir," called out his sensor officer, "we're detecting multiple unidentified craft entering the solar system." Admiral Foster straightened in his chair. "Position. Coming in from the Kuiper Belt, sir. Their trajectory suggests they're trying to remain undetected. Alert the orbital defense platforms," Foster ordered. "And launch intercept squadrons. Let's show our visitors we've been expecting them." In space, 12 sleek alien vessels approached Earth using stealth technology. Their commander was surprised when 20 human spacecraft suddenly appeared on his sensors, moving to intercept. "Impossible," he muttered. "Our intelligence indicated they had no detection capability for our cloaking technology." Before he could order evasive maneuvers, the human vessels opened fire with weapons clearly derived from Council technology, but modified in unexpected ways. At the peace conference, an aide rushed in and whispered to General Mortux, who had just returned. His expression darkened immediately. Science Director Elora noticed the exchange and quietly moved closer to Dr. Curtis. "Your people have prepared more thoroughly than anyone realized," she whispered. The conference room's display suddenly activated, showing the space battle unfolding near Earth. Human vessels were successfully engaging the alien reconnaissance ships, forcing them to retreat. "It seems," Ambassador Wright said calmly, "that we have much to discuss about mutual respect and boundaries." The emergency alert blared through every communication device on Earth. Admiral William Foster's voice carried to billions of people in dozens of languages simultaneously. "Attention all Earth citizens. This is not a drill. Council forces have launched an attack against our planet. All defense protocols are now active. Civilian shelters are open. Stay calm and follow emergency procedures." From his command center, Admiral Foster watched as the holographic display showed hundreds of alien warships entering the solar system. The Council had abandoned diplomacy for a full-scale invasion. "Status of orbital defenses," he demanded. His second-in-command, Colonel Olivia Reynolds, responded immediately. "All platforms online, sir. Lunar base reports ready. Mars outpost standing by. Activate the shield grid." Across Earth, massive generators that had been quietly installed over the past 6 months powered up. A shimmering energy barrier began forming in the upper atmosphere, connecting thousands of nodes in a planetary defense system. In space, Captain Lisa Winters had returned from the failed peace talks just in time to take command of Earth's primary defense fleet. Her flagship, the USV Defender, moved into position with 50 other vessels. "They outnumber us 5-1, her tactical officer reported. "But they don't know what we can do," Winters replied confidently. "Activate the pulse drives." Formation Delta. The human ships suddenly accelerated in ways the alien vessels couldn't match, their experimental engines allowing maneuvers that defied conventional space combat tactics. General Mortux watched from his command ship with growing frustration. "How are they moving like that? Their technology was primitive months ago." His science officer looked troubled. "Analysis suggests they've incorporated elements of Valorian and Centauri propulsion systems, but modified them. Their approach is unorthodox." "Unorthodox or not, crush them," Mortux ordered. The first wave of alien ships fired energy weapons at Earth, expecting to easily overwhelm any defenses. Instead, the planetary shield absorbed and redistributed the energy. On the ground, Dr. Alan Curtis worked frantically in a secret laboratory beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Around him, a team of scientists made final adjustments to Project Mirror, the experimental weapon system he had developed based on Council technology. "Power level stable," reported his assistant. "Targeting system locked." Curtis took a deep breath. "Activate the array." Across Earth's surface, hidden emitters tilted toward space. When the Council ships fired their second volley, the mirror system activated. The energy from the alien weapons was captured, amplified, and then reflected back at the attacking fleet. 20 Council ships were disabled instantly, caught completely by surprise. "Impossible." General Mortux slammed his fist on his command console. "They cannot have developed such technology so quickly." In the Council's emergency session, High Chancellor Vreel faced angry representatives. "You assured us humans were manageable," accused Ambassador Zixtar. "Now my ships are being destroyed by technology they shouldn't possess." Science Director Elora spoke up. "I warned this could happen. Our intelligence failed to account for human adaptability under pressure." On the battlefield, the tide was turning. Captain Winters led a counterattack, her ships moving in formations no Council commander had ever encountered. "Target their command vessels," she ordered. "Disrupt their communication network." The human fleet carved through the alien formation with precision. Though outnumbered, their innovative tactics and surprising technology made up for the numerical disadvantage. Admiral Foster received the battle updates with cautious optimism. "They're retreating from Sector 7. Push the advantage." Back on the Council command ship, General Mortux received increasingly dire reports. "We've lost 30% of our attack force," his officer reported. "Their defenses were prepared for us." For the first time, Mortux felt something unfamiliar: doubt. He had underestimated these humans, and now his forces were paying the price. "Order a tactical withdrawal," he finally commanded. "We need to reassess." As the Council ships began retreating, cheers erupted in command centers across Earth. Humanity had won its first major interstellar battle. The Emergency Council session had been running for hours. Representatives from all 12 species argued bitterly about the failed attack on Earth. "This defeat is unprecedented," shouted the Draconian ambassador, his scaled skin flushing red with anger. How could General Mortux's forces be repelled by a species that only recently discovered space travel? High Chancellor Vreel struggled to maintain order. "We clearly underestimated human adaptability and resourcefulness." Or perhaps, suggested Ambassador Zix-Tar, with a dangerous edge to his voice, "some among us have been sharing Council secrets with these humans." All eyes turned to Science Director Elora, who remained calm under their scrutiny. "I have shared nothing," she stated firmly. "But I did warn that aggressive action was unwise. Humans have demonstrated extraordinary problem-solving abilities under pressure." Meanwhile, in a private chamber aboard the human ship USV Defender, Dr. Patricia Martinez was making a breakthrough. She had established communication with representatives from 3 Council races who sought separate peace talks with Earth. "My government wishes to distance itself from the Council's aggression," explained the Zentari diplomat, his holographic image flickering slightly. "We believe humans and Zentari could become valuable allies." Captain Winters, observing from nearby, exchanged a meaningful glance with Major Johnson. Their strategy was working. "We appreciate your outreach," Dr. Martins replied. "Earth is open to bilateral relationships with peaceful species." Back on Earth, Admiral Foster received an encrypted transmission from Captain Winters. "Phase 3 is proceeding as planned," she reported. "Multiple Council races are breaking ranks. The attack has backfired exactly as we predicted." Foster nodded with satisfaction. "Then it's time for the infiltration team to move." Deep in Council space, a small, undetectable craft approached the massive station serving as Council headquarters. Inside, a specialized team led by Lieutenant Sam Cooper prepared for their mission. "Remember," Cooper briefed his team, "our objective is the Central Archives. We need evidence of the Council's previous conquests." Using stealth technology reverse-engineered from the Council's own reconnaissance ships, the human vessel docked undetected at a maintenance port. The team, wearing adaptive camouflage suits, moved silently through the station's service corridors. "Security systems bypassed," whispered their tech specialist. "We have access to the archive level." While this infiltration proceeded, Major Johnson led a more visible operation. A squadron of Earth ships launched an attack on a Council outpost near the headquarters, drawing attention and forces away from the station. "Make it look good," Johnson ordered his pilots, "but minimize casualties. We want to create a distraction, not escalation." In the Council archives, Lieutenant Cooper's team discovered exactly what they had hoped to find: detailed records of dozens of species subjugated or eliminated by Council decree over thousands of years. "My God," Cooper muttered as he downloaded the files. "They've been doing this for millennia." Entire civilizations wiped out for resources or simply because they were seen as potential rivals. When the data was secured, the team planted specialized transmitters throughout the station. At the Council emergency session, General Mortux had finally regained control of the narrative. "One setback does not mean defeat," he argued forcefully. "We must launch a full-scale invasion with our entire fleet." High Chancellor Vreel looked troubled. "Perhaps we should reconsider." He never finished his sentence. The chamber's communication systems suddenly activated on all channels, every screen filled with images and data from the Council's own archives, graphic evidence of atrocities committed against dozens of species. "What is happening?" demanded Ambassador Zix-Tar. The answer came in the form of Captain Winters' voice, broadcasting across the entire Council network. "People of the Galactic Council," she announced, Your leaders have hidden the truth from you for generations. These are not the actions of a benevolent governing body, but of conquerors and exploiters. Earth extends an offer of alliance to all species who wish to establish a more just galactic community. Throughout Council space, the broadcast reached civilian populations who had never known the full extent of their leaders' actions. Protests erupted on multiple worlds as the evidence spread. General Mortux, realizing his control was slipping, made his move. Guards, arrest Chancellor Vreel for treason. The council chamber descended into chaos as the carefully maintained political structure began to crumble from within. The combined human-alien fleet gathered near the edge of the Sol system. Captain Lisa Winters stood on the bridge of the USV Defender, now serving as the command ship for the Alliance forces. Around her, officers from 6 different species worked together at control stations. "Status report," she requested. Her new first officer, a Zentari named Krell, responded promptly. "All ships in formation, Captain. The Valorian cruisers have taken position on our flanks as planned." Through the view screen, Winters could see hundreds of vessels, some human, others contributed by council races that had defected to their side. It was an impressive sight, especially considering that just months ago, humanity had been unaware of galactic civilization. "General Mortux's fleet has been detected approaching from the Arcturus corridor," reported the sensor officer. "Estimated arrival in 20 minutes. On Earth, Dr. Alan Curtis worked alongside alien scientists in a hastily established research facility. The collaboration had produced unexpected breakthroughs. The integration is complete," announced Allura, who had officially defected from the Council after General Mortux's coup. "The defense system is operating at 200% of projected capacity." Curtis studied the data and frowned. "There's something unusual in these energy patterns. They seem familiar somehow, but I can't place it." Allura hesitated before responding. "That's because your species has encountered this technology before, Dr. Curtis. Long ago." "What do you mean?" Before she could answer, alarms sounded. General Mortux's armada had arrived. In space, the battle began with a ferocity that shocked even veteran commanders. Mortux had gathered loyal forces from across the galaxy, nearly 1,000 warships determined to crush the human-led rebellion. "All ships, engage according to assigned sectors," ordered Captain Winters. "Remember your training and trust your allies." The human vessels demonstrated maneuverability that confused the enemy, while their alien allies provided firepower and tactical expertise. It was a partnership that neither side could have imagined months earlier. On Mortux's flagship, the general raged at his commanders. How are they coordinating so effectively? These species were enemies until recently. His tactical officer had no satisfactory answer. The humans appear to be adapting our own battle techniques, but modifying them in unpredictable ways. Meanwhile, on Earth, ground forces prepared to repel landing parties that had broken through the orbital defenses. Major Eric Johnson commanded a mixed unit of human soldiers and alien allies. "They're targeting the North American defense grid," he informed his troops. "If they disable it, the planetary shield will have a vulnerability." As the ground battle intensified, Dr. Curtis made a startling discovery in the research facility. While analyzing ancient council records that the infiltration team had recovered, he found references to a civilization called the progenitors. "Elora," he called out, "these records mention humans, but from over 50,000 years ago." The science director nodded solemnly. "I was forbidden from telling you, but now you need to know. Humans were once part of the galactic community, one of the most advanced species. Your people developed the basis for much of our current technology. What happened to us? There was a devastating war. Your civilization was nearly destroyed. The surviving council races voted to quarantine Earth, modify your collective memory, and let you develop in isolation." This revelation stunned Curtis, but there was no time to process it fully. The battle in space had reached a critical point. Captain Winters' fleet had suffered heavy losses, but had successfully surrounded Mortux's command ships. On the Council flagship, High Chancellor Vreel, who had been imprisoned after the coup, managed to escape his cell during the chaos. Vreel fought his way to the ship's core, knowing what he had to do. When he reached the central reactor, he found General Mortux waiting. "You always were a coward, Vreel," Mortux sneered. "Too afraid to do what was necessary to maintain our power." "No, Mortux. I was too slow to recognize that our time of dominance is ending. The humans have returned, and the galaxy will be better for it." With those words, Vreel activated the emergency protocols, causing the flagship's systems to shut down. Warning alarms blared as the reactor destabilized. "What have you done?" demanded Mortux in horror. "Given the galaxy a chance for a new beginning," Vreel replied calmly. Captain Winters watched as Mortux's flagship exploded in a brilliant flash. With their command structure destroyed, the remaining enemy forces quickly surrendered. The battle was over. A new chapter in galactic history had begun. The memorial garden on the grounds of the new Galactic Assembly headquarters bloomed with plants from a dozen worlds. 1 year had passed since the final battle against General Mortux's forces. Representatives from all allied species gathered under Earth's blue sky to honor those who had fallen. Admiral Lisa Winters, promoted after the conflict, stood tall in her formal uniform as she addressed the assembly. She had commanded the United Fleet during the decisive battle and now served as Earth's military representative to the new alliance. "We gather today not only to remember those lost," she said, "but to celebrate what we have built together from the ashes of conflict. 1 year ago, many of us were enemies. Today, we stand as partners in a new galactic community." Behind her stood a monument listing the names of every ship and crew lost in the war. Human names were engraved alongside those of former Council species, equal in honor and remembrance. Dr. Alan Curtis watched from nearby, his mind still processing the discoveries of the past year. As head of the new interspecies scientific exchange, he had led efforts to recover humanity's lost history. "The restoration project is proceeding well," whispered Elora, now his co-director. "We've recovered almost 60% of the ancient human archives." Curtis nodded. "It's still hard to believe we were once among the stars, only to forget everything." After the ceremony, the Galactic Assembly convened its quarterly session. Ambassador Kevin Wright, elected as the first chairperson of the new governing body, called the meeting to order. "Today marks 1 full standard year since the Galactic Reformation Treaty was signed," he announced. "In that time, we have established trade routes between 27 worlds, resolved 3 long-standing territorial disputes, and begun the process of welcoming 4 newly spacefaring species into our community." The chamber, designed with input from all member species to ensure comfort and equality, hummed with approval. Unlike the old council chambers with their deliberate intimidation tactics, this hall was built on principles of transparency and respect. In orbit above Earth, Major Eric Johnson, now General Johnson, supervised training exercises for the Integrated Defense Force. Ships from 8 different species maneuvered in formation, practicing cooperative tactics. "The Valorian cruisers are still having trouble with the Epsilon maneuver," noted his Zentari second-in-command. "They'll get it," Johnson replied confidently. "Their ships weren't designed for that kind of turn, but their pilots are adapting well." Back on Earth's surface, Dr. Patricia Martinez led a tour through the new Cultural Exchange Center in what had once been New York City. Alien visitors marveled at human art, music, and history, while humans eagerly explored exhibitions from other worlds. "Humans have embraced galactic integration faster than any species we've encountered," remarked a draconian diplomat. "Your cities now host citizens from 12 worlds, and human communities are establishing themselves throughout allied space." Martinez smiled. "We've always been curious about what lies beyond our world. Now that we've remembered our place among the stars, we're simply coming home." In a secure meeting room, Admiral Winters conferred with Ambassador Wright and Dr. Curtis about recent developments. The exploration vessels report unusual activity beyond the Perseus Arm. Winters explained, Energy signatures unlike anything in our combined databases. Wright frowned. Could it be another unknown species? Possibly, Curtis replied. But according to the ancient records, there might be another explanation. The texts refer to those who dwell beyond, apparently the reason our ancestors developed such advanced technology in the first place. Their discussion was interrupted by an urgent communication. On the display appeared the image of a ship unlike any they had seen before, elegant, seemingly biological in design, and impossibly large. Unknown vessel approaching Earth space, reported the officer on duty. They're broadcasting on all frequencies in multiple languages. The message that followed stunned everyone present. People of Earth and allied worlds, we are the Guardians. We have watched and waited since the Great Forgetting. We rejoice that humans have reclaimed their heritage and reunited the divided stars. But now we must warn you, the ancient enemy stirs once more. The humans have returned just in time. Admiral Winters exchanged glances with her colleagues. One journey had ended, but clearly another was just beginning. Open a channel, she ordered. Tell them Earth and her allies welcome them. And we're ready to hear what they have to say. The Guardian vessel dwarfed even the largest ships in Earth's fleet. Its organic-looking hull shifted colors slightly as it moved into orbit, the surface seemingly alive and responsive to its environment. Earth's defense systems remained on standby, but there was no sense of threat from the massive ship. Admiral Winters led the reception committee on the neutral space station positioned between Earth and the lunar colony. With her stood Ambassador Wright, Dr. Curtis, General Johnson, and representatives from 5 allied species. Scanning complete, reported the station's security officer. No weapons detected, but their technology is beyond our ability to fully analyze. The docking process occurred with perfect precision. When the airlock opened, 3 figures emerged. They appeared almost human, but their skin had a subtle luminescence, and their eyes contained swirling patterns of light. I am Sentinel Lyra, spoke the central figure. With me are Navigator Toren and Memory Keeper Zalin. We are the Guardians, custodians of the ancient knowledge. Admiral Winters stepped forward. Welcome to Earth space. I'm Admiral Lisa Winters of Earth, and these are representatives of the Galactic Assembly. Sentinel Lyra smiled. We have observed your remarkable progress. From a quarantined world to the center of a new galactic order in less than 1 Earth year, even for humans, this is impressive. In the secure briefing room, holographic displays showed star systems beyond known space. The Guardian's presentation revealed disturbing information. The beings you will face are called the Void Collective, explained Memory Keeper Zalin. They existed before any of our civilizations. They do not conquer or negotiate. They consume. Energy, matter, information, consciousness, all are harvested to feed their endless hunger. Dr. Curtis studied the data with growing concern. These energy patterns match anomalies we've detected in ancient human records. Our ancestors fought these beings. They did, confirmed Navigator Torin. The humans of old led the last great alliance against the collective. When victory seemed impossible, they made a desperate decision: to hide Earth and erase your species' memory of the stars. The remaining humans scattered across the galaxy as guardians of the forbidden knowledge. We are descendants of those scattered humans, added Sentinel Lyra, evolved and changed over millennia, but sharing your origins. Ambassador Wright leaned forward. Why hide Earth and erase our memories? Why not continue the fight? Because your ancestors discovered the collective's weakness, explained Lyra. But exploiting it required something no species had: time to develop a specific evolutionary path without the collective's knowledge. General Johnson frowned. You're saying we were bred like weapons? Not weapons, corrected Memory Keeper Zalin gently. Solutions. Human neural patterns evolved on Earth, and isolation developed unique characteristics. Your brains process information in ways the collective cannot predict or counter. On the main view screen, sensors showed disturbances at the edge of charted space, systems going dark, communications ceasing. They're already here, Admiral Winters realized. How much time do we have? Less than 1 Earth year before they reach populated systems, Navigator Torin confirmed. But we bring more than warnings. We bring the technology your ancestors developed. Technology that, combined with your evolved neural patterns, can stop the collective. Dr. Curtis examined the technical specifications with amazement. This interfaces directly with human consciousness. It would allow us to project our thought patterns as a weapon. As a shield, corrected Sentinel Lyra. The collective feeds on predictable patterns. Human thought, especially creative, improvisational thinking, creates chaos in their systems. With this technology, human minds can disrupt their consumption process. Ambassador Wright looked troubled. You're asking us to put our entire civilization at risk based on an ancient theory. Sentinel Lyra's expression grew solemn. We understand your hesitation. But consider this, your species reunited the stars and created peace where there was conflict for millennia. This was no accident. You were meant to return at this precise moment in galactic history. Admiral Winters studied the star charts showing the collective's advance. How do we begin? With the forgotten knowledge, replied Memory Keeper Zalen, producing a crystal device. Everything your ancestors knew, their technology, history, and the full nature of the enemy, is contained here. It is time for humans to remember who they truly are. As the crystal connected with Earth's systems, humanity began to recover its ancient legacy and prepare for the greatest challenge in its long-forgotten history.